Hello, and welcome back to the Learning Room. In this video, we continue our series Learn English Through Stories with a new reflective story that helps you understand English through meaning, emotion, and real language use. If you're new here, this series uses stories to improve your English listening and comprehension skills. And today's story title is Why Being Alone Doesn't Mean You Are Lonely. So let's begin. People often think being alone is sad, but that's not true. I used to feel the same until one quiet afternoon taught me something important. One afternoon, I sat alone with a cup of coffee. There was no one, no noise, no pressure, and I didn't need to pretend. I was alone, and I sat quietly. I didn't rush. I didn't have to talk. I didn't have to explain myself. I was able to think deeply, and I could hear my own thoughts. That quiet moment didn't feel empty. It felt peaceful. It helped me slow down and gave me time to reflect. Being alone gave me energy instead of taking it away. Loving time alone doesn't mean avoiding people. It simply means understanding myself better. I enjoy friendships and conversations, but I also enjoy silence. Now I enjoy being alone, not because I am lonely, but because I need space to breathe and think. Now let's move to part 2, linguistic explanation. In this part, we will briefly analyze the language used in the story to help you understand how English works in real contexts. First, we will look at some key vocabulary from the story, words and expressions that carry emotional and contextual meaning. Next, we will focus on sentence structures, noticing how ideas are connected and how meaning is built through grammar. After that, I will share a pronunciation tip, highlighting a word or sound that learners often find difficult. Then we will explore pragmatics and cultural insight to understand how English speakers express feelings like being alone or connected in natural situations. Finally, we will reflect on the story and discourse insight, examining how the message develops from experience to reflection and conclusion. Let's begin with key vocabulary from the story. The first expression is being alone. Being alone means spending time by yourself. It is a neutral state, and it does not necessarily mean feeling sad. For example, she enjoys being alone in the morning. Now, let's look at the word lonely. Lonely describes an emotional state. It means feeling sad because there is no company or connection. For example, he feels lonely in a new city. Notice the difference. You can be alone without feeling lonely, but you can also feel lonely even when you are not alone. The third expression is need space. This is an idiomatic expression. It means needing emotional or mental distance, not physical distance. For example, I need some space to think clearly. Now, let's look at the expression slow down. Slow down is a phrasal verb. It means to relax or to reduce pressure and pace. For example, weekends help me slow down. Both expressions are commonly used in everyday English, especially when talking about emotions, stress, and personal well-being. Now the finale word, pretend. To pretend means to act in a way that is not real. It is often used when talking about emotions or feelings. For example, she pretended to be happy. In English, this word is commonly used to describe situations where a person hides their true emotions from others. Now let's look at an important sentence structure from the story. Not because I am lonely, but because I need space. This structure uses the pattern, not because, but because. We use this structure to show contrast. It helps the speaker correct a misunderstanding or clarify the real reason for an action or feeling. This pattern is very common in reflective and thoughtful English, especially when talking about emotions or personal choices. For example, not because I'm angry, but because I'm tired. This structure allows the speaker to gently explain themselves without sounding defensive. Next, let's look at another interesting feature from the story. I don't have to rush. I don't have to talk. I don't have to pretend. These are short, emotional sentences. In English writing, short sentences like these are used to add emphasis and make the message stronger. Notice how each sentence stands alone. I don't have to rush. I don't have to talk. I don't have to pretend. This style is very effective in reflective writing and storytelling because it highlights important emotions and ideas clearly. Now let's move to a pronunciation tip from the story. The phrase is have to. In natural speech, have to is often reduced from /have to to have to. For example, I don't have to explain myself. This reduction is very common in spoken English, especially in casual or reflective speech. Using it correctly will make your English sound more natural and fluent. Next, let's look at pragmatics and cultural insight from the story. The sentence is, I enjoy silence. Here, silence does not mean no sound. It refers to mental calm, emotional rest, and freedom from social pressure. In modern English, saying I enjoy silence expresses that enjoying time alone is socially acceptable. It communicates reflection, self-care, and emotional well-being. Now, let's look at a sociolinguistic insight from the story. The sentence is, people often think being alone is sad. In some cultures, constant socializing is highly valued. However, in modern English, it is completely acceptable to say that you enjoy being alone. This expression communicates personal boundaries, mental health awareness, and self-care, and it does not imply rudeness or social rejection. Understanding this helps learners see how English expresses emotions, reflection, and social norms, and how stories like this can teach both language and culture together. Finally, let's look at the discourse insight from the story. This story follows a common English pattern. Personal feeling explanation, contrast reflection. This is a typical structure for reflective writing in English. It allows the speaker or writer to share emotions, clarify meaning, correct misunderstandings, and conclude thoughtfully. By noticing this pattern, learners can improve both their writing and speaking and create stories that are clear, reflective, and emotionally engaging. If you enjoyed learning English through stories, remember that this video is part of our series, Learn English Through Stories. Subscribe to the channel for more stories, explanations, and tips to help you improve your English listening, speaking, and reflective skills. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.